Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Wednesday. We obviously had the Papa Powell speak today after the FOMC meeting. I'm not going to get into the FOMC meeting and what he said, but basically it's just what was expected. Rates are coming, or interest rates hikes are coming in. The only thing that was kind of surprising, he said that I think it was, didn't say directly, but that we could see basically a 50 basis points increase instead of just a regular 25 basis points. So that's the only thing. And then what we really want to get into is obviously the miners here, see how they did today, look at Bitcoin, and then we're going to do a deep dive into CORZ Scientific. Got most of the numbers here. The numbers aren't 100% accurate. There just isn't a lot of details as far as future growth. We know what they're going to get, but we don't know exactly miners, type, things like that. So I'll get into all the numbers here with you guys on that. As always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams, and spam posts get reported and deleted. And then you can take a look at the companies that I'm invested in here. You can take a screenshot of it and take a look. I'm not going to go into it each time. So let's get into Bitcoin here really quick. So Bitcoin obviously broke through the 37,500 mark that we had as resistance. Today, excuse me, everything was kind of pumping today before the Chairman Powell is going to be speaking this afternoon after the FOMC meeting. So pretty much everything was pumping today. Some of the miners were up like 12, 15% on the day. Then they come crashing down. Same thing with Bitcoin. We reached a high of about 38,953 roughly or so. And then we obviously came plummeting down throughout the rest of the day here. And we are at 36,185 right now. So we did go above our resistance. We fell below it. So it's still our resistance right now. It's no longer our support. Our support is currently at 32,730, so like right around that range. And then the RSI on the 4-hour chart is around 42. If we look at the daily chart here, we can see that the RSI is still trending downwards. We did hit a low here of about 19 or 20 on the RSI. Came back up obviously in the last couple of days, and we're trending downwards again. So based on this, it looks like we may be coming back down to test the support here at 32,700. If this fails, we will be going down to possibly 28,000 or so. Let's see if that holds. If that holds, we'll be good. If not, we're probably going down to like 22,000. So something to be mindful of. Let's take a look at Ethereum here as well. We can kind of see how Ethereum played out today. If we look in the 4-hour chart, it was pretty much the same thing here. It pumped in the morning and then fell down in the afternoon hours, especially after Powell spoke. So we have that. So let's take a look at the miners here really quick, and we'll get back to CORZ Scientific. So Argo was up today 3.26% to 98 cents. We could see a nice little pump here. What are we on here? We're on the daily chart. If we look on the 1-hour chart, we can see that things obviously pumped throughout the day, and then things started cooling off as well. So they were up nicely a little bit. Bitfarms was actually down 0.29% to $3.49. And you can see we had a high of $3.90, looks like. And then we came crashing down after Powell spoke. And you can see that on most of these guys here. So they were up quite nicely today before, obviously, the speech by Powell. CleanSpark was down 4.5% to 608. CORZ was up today 9.62%, so a nice day for CORZ Scientific. We can see it pumping down. Obviously, hit a low of 582 here a couple of days ago, and it's been going up ever since then, which is kind of good to see. And we'll actually talk about the numbers, and the numbers are actually outstanding. DigiHost was up 11.3% to 343, so they did a very nice job going up. They've been kind of beaten down too. They hit a low obviously of $2.43 in the last couple of days. If we look at the chart, so they may have bottomed out, but we'll see obviously where Bitcoin goes. And then we got DMG. DMG was up 0.46% to 51 cents. It obviously hit a low here of 45 cents. This was a couple of days ago, and it has obviously crept up a little bit as well. It is now battling with the 200-day moving average. Hive was up 0.54%. It was up a lot higher. It was up to, approximately, what was it? Up to almost $2.07 or so, and then it came crashing down like most of these guys did. Hut was up 5.1% to 576. They were up a lot higher than that. They were up to 639, and then came down in price as everybody else. Iris Energy was up nicely today, 12.57%, but also they were up almost 20% on the day to 11.35, and then came falling down. Then we got Marathon. Marathon was down today 3.25% to 21.46, and we can see that let's see here, this was at 1 o'clock. It started falling at 1 o'clock right before Powell was speaking, but it did go up a little bit on the day and then came crashing down as well. Mawson was up 15% on the day. It's still continuing to go up. It obviously hit a low here of $3.51. So it has battled through. Let me see if we can do it on a daily chart here. So on the daily chart, it's still under the 200-day moving average on it. But obviously, it had a nice green day today, which is kind of good to see on that one. And then finally, Riot. Riot was down 2.12% to 14.33. If we look at the day 1 hour chart, you can see right before Powell spoke, it started falling down. So there was a little bit of optimism, obviously, in the market this morning, and then faded away in the afternoon after Powell's comments. So we'll take a look at Core right now, and we'll go into the details here. So here is CORZ Scientific's. This was from I believe it was from June, if I'm not mistaken. July, sorry. So it's from July 2021. This was their investor presentation. This is what we had to go by in the beginning. They updated some of the information here in their prospectus. Let me see, where are we? This is the important stuff that I wanted to take a look at here. So strong financial performance. This is their 2022 guidance here, basically what they're looking to be in revenue. This is obviously from July, so 6 months old. They were looking at basically $1.1 billion in revenue. And growth rate, they were looking to have basically 15 exahash of their own self-mining. And then for the hosting, they were looking to have about 16 exahash. So we'll take a look at that as well from what I have on them. And then we got obviously their numbers here. Let me see if I can zoom this in for you guys a little bit. There we go. When I just lost it. Figures. There it is. Okay, so this is an unaudited pro forma condensed combined balance sheet as of September 30th, 2021. And this is for, I believe, the 9 months, if I'm not mistaken, that they're reporting here. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. Here it is. For the 9 months ended September 30th, 2021. So hosting revenue from customers was $39.9 million. Equipment sales to customers was $95.7 million. Digital asset mining income was $149 million. So great revenue. Total revenue was $285 million. Cost of revenue was $136 million. Gross profit was $149 million. In my sheets that I'm doing, I don't count the equipment sales because those can vary obviously widely. Things that we can track are obviously the mining, self-mining, and the hosting. I'm trying to figure out exactly how much they're charging their hosting customers to mine with them, through them, basically. So I do have some data on it. If you guys have any better data, obviously let me know. But that's kind of what we're going by here. And then they obviously provided their December production update. So we'll take a look at this. This is where we're using the latest numbers that we have for them, obviously. And let me zoom this in as well for you guys. Okay, so here's what we got. So CORZ Scientific minted 1,044 Bitcoins in December 2021 and held 5,286 Bitcoins as of the year end 2021. December Bitcoin update. CORZ Scientific minted 1,044 Bitcoins in December, 2,498 Bitcoins in the fourth quarter, and 5,769 Bitcoins in the full year, representing year-over-year increase of 313, 235, and 350% respectively. The company held 5,286 Bitcoins at the end of the year. At the year end 2021, CORZ Scientific operated a fleet of approximately 67,000 state-of-the-art ASICs for its own account, which represented 6.6 exahash. So I'm using this number here, the 67,000 and the 6.6 exahash that they're currently at. The company has contracted for the delivery of more than, they didn't provide exact numbers, so we're going with 100,000 here. Delivery of more than 100,000. So as the information comes in, we're going to make this more accurate. But just based on the information that we do have now, I got to go by what's available. So just so you guys are aware of that as well. December hosting update. As of December 31, 2021, CORZ Scientific provided infrastructure, technology, and operating support for diverse group of customers operating more than 80,000 ASICs, which represented 6.9 exahash of the Bitcoin network. In 2021, the company entered into agreements with customers to provide approximately 430 megawatts of additional hosting capacity in 2022. And we're using that chart that they provided here from July as far as what they want to get to their hosting for their customers. So we're kind of going to use that as well. Let's see here. We are pleased with our progress in 2021. Our strong momentum positions us for continued growth in 2022, said Mike Levitt, CORZ Scientific's Chief Executive Officer. CORZ Scientific provides this and any further similar unaudited updates to provide shareholders with visibility into the company's progress towards, okay. So we don't know exactly how many they're going to get for hosting, how many miners. We know that they're operating obviously 80,000 right now at 6.9 exahash. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and I'll tell you guys where I'm kind of guessing at the numbers, and once we get more concrete numbers, those will get updated, and we'll have a much better or accurate viewpoint as far as what's going on with them going forward. Okay, here we go. So we're going to look at the miners for 2022, see how they're doing, and then we're going to also look at the prediction for 2022 if Bitcoin goes up to 85,000 possibly by the end of the year. What could they be possibly making? So here's what I have for them right now. If we look at the quarters, Q2 and Q3, I don't have the numbers. I have basically the numbers for the September ended in 9 months ended September, and they came in basically for mining and hosting was around 129 million. I'm guessing that for these 2 quarters, basically, that would be September, August, July, June, May, and April. I'm guessing that they made somewhere around 90 million maybe based on this, the 129 million total for the 3 quarters basically. I'm guessing it was 90 million around there for the 2 quarters. So we can get that number in here possibly. And then I'm guessing maybe they made about 55 million for the 3rd quarter or the 4th quarter, which is October, November, December. We don't know. They'll provide that information hopefully next month coming up here. And then we'll update this as well. So this is just an estimate based on their growth, how fast they're growing and everything else. So that's an estimate as well. And then the hosting, I don't know if they're what they're charging on the hosting for that. I'm guessing based on their previous hosting, what they were charging, I calculated it to be about almost 4 million per month on average for the 9 months ended in September. So I gave them a little bit more here at 4.5 starting out this quarter. It could be up higher than this. It could be up lower. I just don't know. This is just a best guess estimate that I could come up with on this. So I got them at basically 12% of revenue from the Bitcoin mining on these miners here, which is the 80,000 at basically 6.9 exahash on those. So those are on average about 86 terahash. And then they obviously provided that they're going to be at 16 exahash for hosting for the towards the end of the year. So with all of these combined here, I have them at basically 15.92 exahash for hosting mining. And then that would give us basically an additional, what is that? Additional 100,000 miners at the 90 terahash. I don't know what those are going to be, whether those could be 100,000 or 100 terahash or 140 terahash. I just don't know. There isn't any concrete data on that. So that's going to get updated as we have more information. Now, for their self-mining, they did provide that they're going to have over 100,000. They didn't say exactly how much. I don't know if it's going to be 150,000, if it's going to be 101,000. Just don't know. So I'm going with just the straight 100,000 that they provided here, and that they're going to be reaching, I believe it was, with what they reported here, the 67,000 miners that they have, mining at approximately 6.6 exahash, if that's correct here. What do they provide here? Yeah, 6.6 exahash on that. That brings us to having about, on average, miner speed of around 98.5 terahash. And then, obviously, the 100,000 miners that they're getting in, I'm guessing they're getting the XPs from Bitmain. Those are 100 terahash miners. So if they're getting 100,000 of those, that would get them up to, by the end of the year, at approximately 16.6 exahash, which is obviously more than their reported of the 15, but that was obviously back in July. So as more data comes in from them, this will be updated and we'll get a more accurate look at what's going on with them. But I think this is for right now. This is pretty close. It's not 100%, but it's pretty close to what they might be at. And like I said, as we get, January's numbers and then February's numbers and March numbers, we'll get obviously more accurate data going forward. So based on that, I got Bitcoin price right now at 36,640. And we're obviously going by monthly here as far as what they could be making. So for January, we're making about $18 on the miners that they do have or so installed, 1809. This is gross profit. They're mining basically for a full month, and that income would be $36.3 million right now, valued at this Bitcoin price and at the current hash rate of Bitcoin's network. What else can I tell you? On the hosting part, I got them at approximately 4.57, sorry. So they're earning basically like $1.91 for each miner that they're hosting. I'm guessing this could be off, obviously, like I said. But then that comes out to be a total of approximately 41 million for the month of January. And then right now, we just don't know what's going to happen in February as far as the Bitcoin price and everything else. So I'm just using the numbers that we have here for January to go all the way through the year. So if everything stayed the same going January to December, this is what they would possibly be making for the year. So we got them making approximately 491 million right here. And then if we're using the 75% net revenue, net income from gross revenue, and a 20 earnings multiple, we're looking at $25 basically stock price, where I think it would be a fair value on it. The other thing that's questionable right now is I don't know for sure if this is the exact amount of shares outstanding, 289 million. And then the market cap is at 2.5 billion. This is still questionable. I couldn't find any concrete answers as far as how many shares they do have out there after the SPAC merger, obviously. When that gets updated, that will obviously change as well as far as what their potential is. But what we do have them at is obviously their BTC HODL is at 5,296. That represents a value of 244 million. HODL to market cap ratio is basically 9.76%. So almost 10% of their value, market value based on this, if this is correct, would be 10% of that would be their HODL position. And then each share would be valued basically on the HODL of 85 cents per share is their HODL position in the market. The other thing is obviously if we look at the past 3 quarters here, we're looking at 145 million for the past 3. This is obviously an estimate. I'm not sure on that. We'll get better data once Q4 gets released. Combined total would be for this current quarter and the past 3 quarters would be 267 million. So if we're using that and we're using the price to earnings multiple of 20, 75% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at 1388 as a fair value on CORZ. So obviously a lot of growth in them, which is kind of astounding that they're growing that fast, considering where they were just beginning of basically middle of the last year. They grew quite a lot from their own mining, just alone on that. So if they can pull all this stuff off, they're going to be a juggernaut to beat in this space. We'll see how everything plays out. Chip shortages, supply constraints, everything else. So we'll see if they can manage to get up to the hash rate that they want to get up to. But based on that, I have them right now basically being 41% operational of future hash rate. So future hash rate, I have them at 32 exahash, 32.5. Current hash rate combined, which is the combination of self-mining and hosting, is 13.5 exahash, which is insane. I mean, that's basically 3 times what I think Mara is right now. Let's take a look at Mara, I believe. Mara is at 3.5. So we got CORZ Scientific basically almost 4 times that size. So they are obviously a juggernaut in this space. All right, so let's take a look at what could happen possibly with them with a 2022 prediction if everything works out well. Bitcoin obviously goes up to a price of 85,000 towards the end of the year. We're using basically like averages here. I'm using the current price in January, 36,640. February may go up. I'm guessing that we slowly go up this year, but we could do the opposite. We could go down. And then obviously the average hash rate is going to increase as well by about 50% towards the end of the year. So we're going to start out around 200 million on it, end up around 300 million. So that's 50%, a little bit more than that, 55, 60% increase in hash rate on that. So those are just kind of the assumptions that we're using here. And if we look at the information here that we get, so I have miners being installed in these tranches here each month. We get an additional, obviously, allotment getting installed. And same thing for their hosting revenue. We just don't know if this is going to play out this way. It could be less, could be more, could be delays. But if everything worked out perfectly, I got them right now at approximately 1.25 billion in revenue, and a stock price 75% net income from gross revenue, 20 price earnings multiple. We're looking at $64.81 on the stock price, and that is based on pretty close to what they reported here. Oh, sorry, what was this one? That they want to get to 1.14 billion combined. Obviously, they have blockchain hardware included in that, which is, let me see here. I can't tell what part of that is, but they got a portion of it that's DeFi, blockchain hardware, which is where they're selling the hardware, ASIC miners, blockchain hosting, and digital asset mining, 1.14, and this was from July. I have them now at 1.25 approximately, if everything works out. Okay, a lot of information, obviously. There's a lot of ifs, there's a lot of assumptions. So obviously, not financial advice, guys, but if they can pull it all off, they're going to be huge. Things that we don't know, obviously, share price, market cap. We don't know what the miners that they're buying are, the 100,000. Those could be the 100 terahash, could be the 90 terahash. Just don't know, but we're going by what they're saying they're going to and where they want to get to. Like I said, the more information they get from them going forward for January production updates, February and March, the numbers will get much better. Q4 numbers as well will help us get more accurate numbers going forward. So as time goes by, these numbers are going to get much, much more accurate, I think. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Obviously, these guys are huge. Surprised they haven't gone public prior to this, but obviously they had, I don't know how they even started out, whether they had investors or not. I'm sure they had investors. But to get this huge before going public is a huge accomplishment on them. So congrats to them. Hopefully you guys were able to buy the dip. Not financial advice, but like I keep saying, you're better off buying over the long run. Dollar cost average in, not trying to time the market. But yeah, I mean, you could be up, 30% right now from the low that it was. So hope some of you guys did that. If you guys did, congrats to you. But that's it. Let me know what you guys thought of the numbers, obviously. If there's any things that I got wrong, let me know. Like I said, there's a lot of assumptions and ifs. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and notification bell. Helps me out tremendously. Love you guys watching. Thank you so much for that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then,